All right. So we have Lakers versus Rockets tonight. And, I mean, obviously, we just came off of a win against the Thunder. And so this matchup is not only a little more intriguing, but there's a really good chance you could see the Lakers, kind of take it. Not only did he play well defensively against Russell Westbrook, even some stints on Paul George, and the Lakers had a good scheme that they were trying to apply across the board, and it worked out really well for them. And it was really just let the Thunder shoot. And it didn't work out early as Ferguson and others hit. And as I even highlighted in a video, I mean, even some of Russell Westbrook's threes, the Lakers specifically ran from Westbrook and went to other shooters, daring him to shoot. And so that's part of the reason you saw Westbrook even score as much as he did. I mean, he went 5 of 12 from the three-point line, which is amazing for Russell Westbrook. And so when you look at that fact, and he finished 7 of 30 for the game, I mean, he made 2 shots everywhere else in the court because they were daring him to shoot threes because they wanted him to try and beat them that way. And so when he did decide to drive because he didn't want to shoot all of those, I mean, there was just plenty of people in the paint waiting for him. And so I'm going to go ahead and ask this real quick. And so this is a trivia question that we're gonna do to be able to get one of these NBA bracelets here. And so the first question I'm going to ask to start the show, we're going to do another one to end the show, and we'll give another bracelet out sometime in the middle. But right now, the first one I'm going to say is, so Michael Jordan for his career averaged 36 and 5. But he never had a game where he scored 30, had 6 rebounds, and had 5 assists. Name 2 other players who also have not had their averages in a basketball game. And so the first 2 people, or the first person I see to say that throughout the rest of the show, I'll go ahead and you'll get your pick of which one of these 3 that you would want today. And so I'm just going to go ahead and get back into, the Thunder and everything else that we have going on. And so essentially tonight, when you have I said Thunder, I really meant to say Rockets. So Lonzo should be lined up against James Harden, especially since he's played so much point guard recently. And what I'd be interested in, figuring out or seeing is who kind of wins that matchup. I mean, James Harden's obviously going to take a lot of shots tonight, and I wonder what way it's going to kind of work out. Because, I mean, he's obviously on a stretch where he's scoring 40, 50 points every single night. And he even already scored 50 against the Lakers once. So you have to expect that not only is he going to put up shots, but he's going to be able to do it well. And especially since they just came off a win, it may not be looking good for them. And so Lonzo versus James Harden is going to be interesting tonight because you can't have him go off in the entire game and expect to kind of pull out with a win. I mean, they obviously already got this one win on the road trip, so even if they lose tonight, it's really not the end of the world. But assuming you want the Lakers to win and that Lonzo, needs to play well, because we need to continue to see that out of him for his development. Like, the Lakers can't just go out there and lose tonight and him go, 0 for 4, 1 for 5 for the game, and us be content with it, right? You have to continue to show, a little more ability than that. And so I really think that that's going to be an issue, and I want to see how he plays the entire night, how he leads the offense, how he's how he even shoots, if he's shooting still with confidence, if he just gets the ball and kind of rips it like he was doing last game, because he's starting to show more and more more and more stints of him being kind of that UCLA Lonzo and showing all of those things that made him a number 2 pick in the first place. He's starting to put a lot of them into the same game instead of having it all be kind of separated or having stats that come in a loss. And so they're starting to come together, and he's performing well down the stretch. And so just because they won against a team that many didn't have them winning against doesn't mean that they can come into Houston and lay a dud. Because Houston also has Capella out, they have Chris Paul out, so all they have is James Harden. And so they have a lot of pieces missing. And so the Lakers, granted, they have pieces missing as well. But I just feel as a unit between Lonzo, Ingram, Kuzma, Hart, that they're going to try and contain Harden tonight. They're going to try and contain Harden tonight in a way that you haven't seen. And hopefully that results in a bad shooting night, and that's going to be determined. I mean, James Harden's going to take a lot of shots either way, right? So it's not really going to matter what they do defensively, and they're going to be working. I mean, James Harden's going to put up 10, 15 shots probably minimum on Lonzo, and that's just on Lonzo, let alone what he gets up on everyone else. And so tonight's going to even be telling, because if they can squeak away with a win, because again, they just beat the Thunder, all the pressure now is kind of on Houston. Like it was on the Lakers because they hadn't really been winning, but now that they got that win against the Thunder, it's almost like they almost never lost to the Cavs and they just lost to the Thunder, right? At least record-wise. Obviously, they still lost to the Cavs, but they had this confidence in this win. And so now you go into this Rockets game, and not only did they already split this road trip, which they would live with, but if they win this game, then, they beat 2, Western Conference teams that are at the top of the conference without LeBron. And so then the narrative would really change to, okay, well, they play well when they have their whole core, and they play better when they're going up against a, playoff type team instead of these lower teams that they probably didn't get up for. And I don't know if you can actually say that, because I really don't think this team would be a lottery team. I mean, it would be a lottery team, maybe if they had started this year without LeBron, like if he went out first game and they weren't able to make any roster changes. But what you have to realize is they didn't construct this team with 3-point shooters and a lot of other things. Like if you've been tuning in, I've been saying I really think this roster was purely constructed for, the defensive side of the ball. I think they switched well against Golden State, and they matched up really well against Golden State, before Boogie signed. Once Boogie signed, I don't know if anyone matches up well against Golden State now, especially after what we saw last night. Him, putting up 14 and 6 in 15 minutes. And so that's a whole nother issue to get into, which, they have a game after from this, right? Because as you can see here, they have a tough stretch over these games, and it's really going to be hard for them, to win a lot of these if LeBron doesn't, come back until like the Suns game, which is some rumblings we're hearing. I've also heard that, he could be back as soon as the Timberwolves or the Warriors, but I just don't think he would want his first game back to be the Warriors. Or maybe he would. Maybe that's the kind of hype he's trying to build, from getting injured to the Warriors to playing the Warriors again. I'm not sure. I just feel like maybe he would want almost a tune-up game before he plays a game that so many more people would, tune into and would, talk one way or another about. So I feel like I don't think he's going to play Golden State, even though it's in LA. And so that's going to be, kind of interesting one way or the other. And then obviously we have other people on this list, like Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving, who, when Lonzo Ball goes up against them, people have constantly said he can't stop them. So it's going to continue to be interesting. And I'm going to go ahead and say it one more time real quick, just since there's more people on here. Michael Jordan averaged 36 and 5, but he never had 36 and 5 in a game. Name 2 other players who never had their averages in a basketball game. The winner will get an NBA bracelet. Whoever says it first in the comments. And so, continuing there is, so you have Houston, Houston tonight, they're going to pose a matchup because they're going to shoot so many threes. But again, the Lakers match up well against that. They switch so much on the outside. They want to switch everything. They're long, and they match up well in that area. And so, you doing that is really the reason it's the reason I think they match up well is because put up a shot one way or the other, his step back, and so it's actually going to be cool to see Lonzo have to have more of a role against James Harden specifically, and going forward, it's going to be pretty telling, and part of that is all right. And so I saw the first one in the comment. I saw one of them, but there's 2. Yeah, LeBron is one of them, and so you would be right on that. Although I need 2 people, so I would need you to say one more. First person to say 2. Oh, someone else said Kobe. Kobe is one of the answers. Okay, and so continuing though until I see someone else say something. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought for a second. And so the Lakers tonight. Oh, I lost the comments altogether then. Nope, it's not LeBron and Melo. And so the Lakers tonight, they're obviously going to be switching a lot. They're going to be running through Lonzo even more. As you can tell, Brandon Ingram is improving across the board as a playmaker. The other day, he was struggling with his shot, and he still had 10 assists, or 11 assists actually. And so him and Lonzo combined for 21 assists in a game. That's really important for the Lakers, because what that kind of did for them is it's showing that all of their players, no matter, go ahead and win. You have a choice between a Damian Lillard, an NBA, and a Carmelo Anthony. But I will continue. I'm going to go ahead and continue what I'm saying, and you can just comment which one you'll want. And so, going forward, you've got, so tonight you really need to see if Lonzo and Ingram are going to continue to run the show like that. I mean, they did it against one of the top defensive teams, but the Thunder have also been struggling as of late. If you've been watching their games, like, they haven't been the best defensive team in the NBA over their last 10 games. They've losing, and they've lost to, or they lost to people like the Hawks and others where they gave up a ton of points, and that's going to make it really difficult to win games. And so the Thunder were already doing that, and so you see the Lakers scoring 128 in regulation. That's not necessarily a surprise. Oh, okay, well, I didn't see that he said both names first. I mean, I did say that the first one that I said I saw. I mean, I can go ahead and give it to him instead, and we've got 2 other questions coming up. But again, I just didn't see his comment. But continuing with what I was saying, and so you've got this game tonight, and it's really looking like a losable game for the Lakers. I mean, they did just play a couple days ago, and when you, after coming off a big win in overtime and, coming out strong, which they cannot go down early against Houston and expect to beat them. Because if they go down early, then Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, some of the others are going to kind of hang their head. They're not going to play as much defense, a lot of other things, and you're going to see all of Houston's three-point shooters kind of continue to take off. And so you may even see starters get pulled early if something like that happens, if Houston gets off, to a hot start. And so the way LA starts this game is going to be vital, in kind of asserting themselves. But, over the course of even last year, LA has always played these top teams kind of better. Even before they had LeBron James, they were playing Golden State well. They were playing a lot of teams well just because their young players get up more for those games. I mean, it's an 82-game schedule, and you can't tell me that, some night in Minnesota is going to be as important to a young player as, them playing the defending champs or playing James. But I feel like that they do in a way, because there's no way that Lonzo can go out there and lay the kind of dud he did against the Timberwolves and then, still have the other issues. And so get pulled and not shoot and, be lackadaisical on defense. There's a lot of things that can go into play there. And so to try and win tonight, the biggest thing that they're going to have to try and do is, switch everything and, not let James Harden beat you. Try and get the ball out of James Harden's hand. Put Lonzo on Harden as much as possible. I really want to see that tonight, because last time we didn't get to see it a lot, and Harden went off for 50, and, that's all we heard was, Harden torched Lonzo, even though he was only 3 for 5 against Lonzo. I mean, that's still 60%, but I want to see more than 5 shots against Lonzo tonight. I'm hoping Lonzo's going to be the primary defender, and, depending on how much they switch and what the Rockets and James Harden try and do, it should be interesting. Because obviously tonight, James Harden's the only person you're keying on. So it's not like I'm going to be able to say Lonzo's going to be trying to help on Capella, anything like that. They're going to key in on Harden and pretty much Harden alone, right? And so, and that's what a lot of teams are doing. And I don't know if teams recently are almost trying to see if Harden will just beat you by himself or what they're trying to do. But he has been beating teams by himself. So I really don't want to see the Lakers go out there and let him have 40, 50 points tonight. And so just given what he's done, though, over these games, I think a dramatic win would be 25 points or less. If James Harden had 25 points or less, the Lakers' defense is real. Lonzo Ball would be real. If he scores, 26 to 40, the Lakers probably still play decent defense. He's, again, probably just taking a lot of shots. And if he scores 40 plus, well, again, it's probably just James Harden. Like, he has done it to the entire league. So it's not like I can expect Lonzo and everyone to shut down every single person every single night. We've never said that that's what he's doing. I'm just saying that, point guards or whoever's starting at point guard for that game misses more often than not when Lonzo is guarding them or on the court. Like, when he's guarding them, they miss more often than when Lonzo's not guarding them. Like 20% more they miss. When they get a switch or when Lonzo's on the bench, they just shoot better. And so that's an issue. And that's why you've seen Lonzo play so many minutes a lot of, these games, especially the ones without Rondo, because there isn't someone to make up for the defensive side of the ball, let alone the offensive side. And so Lonzo, I really hope we see, way more Zoo tonight. I haven't actually heard if he's starting tonight, but I would be, 1, shocked if he's not, and 2, pretty upset. I want him to start tonight. I want Lonzo. I mean, honestly, you can almost just put the entire young core out there. I mean, Hart played. I mean, obviously, I think KCP spaced the floor better, so I guess you do have to start him. But I almost would have liked the entire young five to get started, right? Just for a game to see kind of what happens. But I mean, again, you don't have to start them. Hart can come in whenever. No, and see, I don't have high expectations for the Lakers tonight. Again, I'm going to pick the Rockets to win tonight. Let me transfer back over to this. I'm picking the Rockets to win tonight, and a lot of that isn't just because, I'm not confident in the Lakers. It's just every time, including against the Thunder, where I say the Lakers don't have a strong chance in winning, or you could see them lose tonight, they play a lot better than I expect. And so again, I'm just going to go ahead and do it just to keep rolling with it. And I don't think the Lakers are going to do too well against the Rockets tonight. I think they lose by somewhere about 10 to 12 points would probably be my guess. I'm thinking about 113 to 101. I'm looking for Lonzo. I want his minimum of production around 15, 5, and 5. And he needs to just be scoring those more points with LeBron out. And just because I think he needs to take more shots. The more shots he takes, the better he's going to play in general. And so that's something I want to see. Higher field goal percentage the more shots he takes. A higher three-point percentage the more shots he takes. More rebounds and more assists the more shots he takes. And less turnovers. So Lonzo Ball is literally more efficient across the board the more shots he takes. So he should just continue to keep shooting. At least because the contingency to that, or at least what I've seen, naysayers say, is, well, yeah, he only takes that many shots when he's having a good game. Okay, well then we need to see more of him continuing to shoot on his bad games so we can see everything kind of even out. The problem is when he's having a quote-unquote bad game, he'll go 0 for 4 from the field. Or even when you saw the Pistons game, he was 2 for 6, but honestly, he was the best player on the court that game. Like he affected the defensive end of the ball against Blake Griffin a ton. He almost took him out of the game in the post area. He was contributing on the offensive end, mostly in assists. He had 11 to go with, he only had like 5 or 6 points in that game. But again, you can't measure every game with Lonzo on just point production. And so that's something people are going to have to kind of realize as we're going forward, with Lonzo and, the Lakers. And like I've even been saying, Lonzo's untradeable. Like, you're not going to see him get traded now or anytime soon. And so I'm going to go ahead and ask one more question here, kind of in the middle of this segment. And the first person that can tell me what Lonzo's in a bracelet. First one that can tell me those stats over the last 20 games. And if you need help, we've posted it on our Twitter. And so you should just be able to scroll through and see. And so I'll just go ahead and, get into tonight. And, to get away from Lonzo for a second, someone else who is really important in this is Kyle Kuzma. And so Kyle Kuzma, not only is him continuing to be aggressive important, but you need Kuzma to continue to shoot the ball, and which obviously he has no problem doing. But the games where, like last night, where he goes 7 of 10, 7 of 12, whatever it was from 3, those are the nights you really need out of Kuzma. We need to see him kind of get hot and pick his percentage back up in these games. And Kuzma and Lonzo, I think they both play better not only as the game goes on and they get into better rhythm, but when the game's close and where you saw him heat up at the end of the Cavs game, and that kind of and that kept them in it, but they were down too much for them to really, pull out that win. And you saw him and Lonzo heat up against the Thunder, and so now you really need to see I don't know what the 30, 33, and 35 is, but those are not his stats. I'm saying his stats, not his field goal percentage, 3-point, and free throw. I'm saying what's his points, rebounds, assists, and field goal percentage, or 3-point percentage. Excuse me. And so tonight's matchup, Kuzma's just important for Lonzo because he can't. I mean, because Lonzo, to have those high assist games without, I mean, you need scores to get assists. I mean, obviously you can have just, your basic kind of, no, not last game, the last 20 games. Like I'm telling you, you can go look through. I've put his stats for the last 20 games just in my Twitter alone. Not to mention, you could go look it up on NBA Advanced Stats. Okay, well here, how about I switch up the question then? Let me switch it up on you, since that seemed a little too difficult. What's Lonzo Ball averaging from 3-point range? I guess just the first one to say. We'll just do an easy one. Just because I kind of messed that up, I guess. And so just to go forward though, you've got You've got this matchup tonight, and Lonzo has to kind of step up. Like he just did that against the Thunder, and we showed you. No, and Lonzo does play better with. Lonzo does play better with Kuzma, and Kuzma plays better with Lonzo. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry, Kuzma does play better with Lonzo running point guard, and running the show and playing everything like that. And I need an exact percentage though. And so they do have to kind of they just do have to improve on that, right? And part of that is Luke putting the ball in Lonzo's hands more. I mean, we've seen throughout the year him kind of, not put the ball in Lonzo's hands as much as it should be. But recently, that's not been the case. We've seen Lonzo's 3-point attempts rise over, this stint without LeBron and throughout his career. Because again, I've been trying to tell you, we're not far off from seeing Lonzo shoot 7 to 9 threes a game. Like when he actually becomes a consistent 3-point shooter, what you're going to see at that point is the fact that he actually can shoot. Because just look at the attempts and kind of what he's been shooting as his career progressed. Year 1, he shot 5.2 3-point attempts a game, and he only shot 30% from the field. 33%, you're right. There you go. And so then I just kind of talk off the top of my head. I don't really have notes. I kind of go off of what's going to happen in the game. I mean, I know what I'm going to say basically, but no, I don't have notes. And so going into tonight, you've got and then you've got like he shot. For his career, he's shooting 5.3 3-point attempts a night. This season, he's shooting 4.9, but he's got LeBron on his team and others taking away shot attempts. Just the last 20 games, though, since he started shooting better across the board, he's up to 5.9 3-point attempts a game. The last 12 games without LeBron, he's up to 6 3-point attempts a game. And the last 3 games in which people are crying for the Lakers to have more engagement and need more out of Lonzo, he shot 7.5 3-point attempts a game. And last night he shot 9, he shot 10 3-point attempts, but I excluded the 10th one because he shot an 85-footer that I don't even know why he shot. I mean, and it goes to show you that now he's kind of just not caring. He's not caring about his field goal percentage. He's not caring about anything. Lonzo's kind of going out there and just playing. And I think all of that is really telling in what, in the potential for Lonzo Ball. And I mean, just because you're seeing him continue to step up and want to take more and more threes. And those threes are starting to go in at a higher and higher rate because he's just getting more confident. And so I really think that 2 to 3 seasons from now, you could really see Lonzo. I'm not saying he's going to break a record for makes, but he could easily be close to a James Harden type record for attempts per season. Like, I could easily see Lonzo take, 8-9 threes a game as an average in a season, and a lot of them being step backs. And that's why I really like kind of a comparison of a mix between Jason Kidd, James Harden, and Shaq at the free throw line. I mean, at least just until he gets that sorted out. Which, again, I think Lonzo will get it sorted out, right? Because at some point he will... I mean, at some point, I don't think he's a 40% free throw shooter. I mean, he is, obviously. I think Lonzo's more of a 60 to 72% free throw shooter. But between, pressure, no off season, the limited amount of attempts, him gaining so much muscle this off season, between all of that, that's pretty bad. And so... Oh, okay, well, see, Josh Hart hustles a lot. Like, even when he's not playing, I mean, he's another one who really fills up the stat sheet as far as getting steals, getting blocks, playing hustle defense. And that's a lot of something that's, I mean, you're seeing that in the regular season. I mean, if these guys have another gear, which we're going to find out if they have another gear come playoff time, then their defense is only going to get more intense. I mean, you saw guys like James Harden and others, how they tried to defend, Curry and I said James Harden, J.R. Smith in the finals, how they tried to guard Curry and others. I think you could see a lot of similar things with the Lakers. They just have better athletes. Like Kyle Kuzma, he's going to do a lot of what, Kevin Love did. And we saw Kevin Love lock up Steph Curry in a basketball game, or at least help in a manner. And so you could see Kyle Kuzma do a lot of similar things just because he's a much better wing defender than Kevin Love. I mean, he's not as good of a wing defender as, Lonzo or Brandon Ingram, but it's improved from what LeBron had. And so, yeah, we don't have shooters, but this team is so much better than the team LeBron just took to the finals. And people are really, kind of just forgetting that. And kind of leaving that off the board. And yeah, someone already got the stats, and someone already got the other one too. But we're gonna have one more at the end here in about like 5-10 minutes. I'm gonna end this up, and I'll do one more question for a giveaway. And so it really is going to be intriguing, and I want to know how much they're all going to step up. I mean, because Hart's going to play defense, Ingram's going to play defense tonight. I mean, they're all... No, I mean, well, he has games where it doesn't seem like he does much, but look at like the way his role has kind of, turned onto the team too. Like, the team's used him a lot in as if he was like Kyle Korver. So in a game where he's not hot from three and he's missing because he's a streaky shooter as well. When he's missing, I mean, what do you expect? Like, they're trying to have him run around screens and take threes like he's a player he's not. And I mean, yes, he's improving from 3-point range, and he was even shooting a good percentage with LeBron, and his percentage with LeBron off the court has greatly affected that. Because he was shooting like 38% with LeBron, and he's shooting like 18% from three since LeBron went out. And so he's shooting like 35% on the year. So Hart's shooting well, but he needs to get back to shooting as well as he was to start the year. And that's why sometimes you can see him not necessarily have a lot of impact if he's getting cooked on defense as well as not making shots. Because again, you can't expect a defender in an offensive-driven league to shut someone down every night and shut someone down every play. Like players are just too good on the offensive end of the ball, and you're not going to see that happen. And so you have to have reasonable expectations along with that. And so all of those things are pretty important. And earlier I predicted 18-8-8 for Lonzo, and I said that the Rockets were going to win 113-101. And again, I'm just kind of picking the Rockets to win because I want to jinx them. I want to reverse jinx them by picking them. But hopefully the Lakers can compete tonight. I am worried, and I wouldn't put my money, at Vegas on the Lakers winning just because, they did just beat the Thunder. And so it's hard for them to have already split in this road trip and then, go ahead and just sweep the road trip without LeBron when they're playing both. And so that's a good question. Over, under? Well, here, how about I do it for the whole team? My over-under for the whole team on fouling three-point shots tonight is, especially since we're in Houston, 5. I would say my over-under's 5, and I would have to have y'all pick from there whether it's going to be over-under. I'm thinking 5 is the threshold. The Lakers are going to foul some three-point shooters tonight. I'm feeling it. Because the Rockets are going to shoot a lot of them, and the Lakers have just been doing it on a consistent basis. So I could see 5 easily. Last game alone, I think the Lakers had 3. One of them was a foul on a jump shot. But if you include all jump shots, then it would probably be 5. I don't know if it would be 5 3-point attempts alone, but they're really going to foul the Rockets. Like, it's going to happen. No, they're going to foul them more, like, on drives, but I'm talking about from 3-point range. I would not be surprised if I saw easily 5 fouls get put up, on jump shots. Maybe I shouldn't say 3-pointers, on all jump shots. I could see 5 fouls. Just because James Harden's going, he's probably going to get 2 or 3 foul calls on him alone, right? And that's without someone else accidentally, fouling a jump shooter. Like, I really feel like it's going to be a lot tonight. And so, that'll be interesting one way or the other. But I'm going to go ahead and end up tonight's. I'm going to go ahead and end up this morning's broadcast with this last question that you see on the board, and the whoever answers it first will obviously get to choose what bracelet they want. And then I'll go back and I'll ask the other 2 what bracelets they want as well. I forgot that was the way it was going to work. And so I'll just message you all and correlate which one you're going to get. But the first person to answer will get We'll get one of these bracelets. No, the refs did admit the Lonzo one was a mistake. And if you go look, all of y'all should go look after this. We did our Lonzo Ball defense thread. We've turned into a Lonzo Ball video defense thread. And so you can go through and look, kind of line by line, or not line by line, but you can kind of just go through and look and see you can kind of just go through and see that November 12th, 2017. I don't think that is what I have. I don't think I have that date. Yeah, I do not have that date. I mean, a lot of y'all are close, but a bunch of y'all are getting the date wrong. There you go. That was the first one I saw say it. So, Jerval 314. Yes, it was November 11th, 2017. And so you'll go ahead and get to pick. And so I'm going to go ahead and end today's broadcast on that note. And again, if you want additional chances to win any of these, we have a tweet that you can retweet and reply to. And we're going to be giving these away on our live the rest of the year, along with giving them away on our Twitter account and everything else. So stay tuned and kind of just stay active. And the 3 people who won the bracelets, go ahead and DM me, and I will make sure that we get those situated. And so, again, I just want to say it at the end of this one more time. I'm going to pick the Rockets to win tonight, 113-101. I'm going to say Lonzo has 18, 8, and 8. And James Harden is going to be held to 33 points. 33 points on 37% shooting. I think it's going to be an off night for James Harden. And I think the Lakers are going to D him up. But I think that it's also going to be an off night kind of for the Lakers. So I don't think that as a team they're going to be able to put up enough points. And I expect James Harden to just kind of run the show a little better. And so I will be back post-game to, give my thoughts on what we saw, in the Lakers versus Rockets tonight. And I will also be giving away another 2 bracelets during the post-game tonight. And they will be trivia questions over things that happened in the game. So stay tuned and pay attention to tonight's game and be ready for that. And so thank y'all for tuning in to Unique Sports Live, and we will see you next time.